What's going on is Specimen here with Ronvid's Revenants, but in Master Mirror form. We're using Amphibious Assault, which is finally a way you can tutor Ronvid without using Royal Decree, without using Marching Orders. You put this card in your deck. If you draw Ronvid, jobs are good and you put him down. And then you can play Amphibious Assault on some low units and they're going to get big buffs. Or, if you don't find Ronvid, you're going to be able to use John Natalis to play Assault and get Ronvid down on the board 90% of the time. What that means is every single time I play a soldier, Ronvid is going to come out of my graveyard. And we're going to hopefully use Revenants to kill Ronvid, spawn another Revenant, play a soldier, Ronvid comes back. Jobs are good and right. So we've got some really nice soldier synergy, and actually a lot of great soldier cards have been added in this expansion. Of course, Varaxus, the evolving card, is in his final evolution playing boosting or soldiers, so that's something I want to try out. But with this particular list, I decided to not go down the devotion route, but I'm really not that far away from it, so it's definitely something I could explore in the future. I went for Alzor's Double Cross as a neutral card, as a nice way of tutoring Draug, because I do feel like Northern Realms is still all about drawing those gold cards. If you're going to miss Draug, you're pretty screwed, right? So ADC is going to play Falibor or Draug, which is really nice. And then you've got Assault, which can play everything else below. So yeah, ADC hits Draug, Falibor, then Baron. Assault can play everything below, so you can tutor pretty much every card, unless you draw really, really badly and you miss both Falibor and Draug. Then it's just going to be a little bit unlucky. Ronvid, as I say, is going to come in for some high tempo, and there's another little combo you can do with him using Offering. Offering being used instead of Reinforcements in this list at the moment, because you can damage Ronvid by 1 in round 3, and you could play a soldier from your graveyard and Ronvid's just going to come straight back out. So it's basically a Necromancy, but for a provision less. The reason I've gone for it over Reinforcements is because sometimes you might want to use it on a Revenant and you might not have any Revenants on the board. You might want to use it on a Crack Frigate, because this card, if you've got 2, 1 in each row, can fill your board up very quickly. Whereas if you've got 1, it gets destroyed. It's pretty nice to replay it rather than Reinforcements. I think the Offering is a really nice card for this. You cannot tutor it, unfortunately, but I just think it's a really nice round 3 option. I'm also using the Crack Cutthroat, which is a soldier bandit, and it's just a nice formation that you can play proactively, or you can play it on the front row and just get that bleeding straight away. Royal Guards, of course. The Karak City Guard is a brilliant card. It's got Veil, and every turn it's boosting itself by 1. It's then got an order ability of moving an opponent's unit. So when you use that order ability, it stops buffing itself by 1. So if there's nothing good to move, you just keep buffing by 1. If there's something good to move, jobs are good and you take the movement. A great card with a beautiful card up. We've got a single Revenant, just 1. The reason we've got 1 Revenant is it opens up our mobilization off of our Forbidden Magics and also off of our Draug. Just gives us that nice way of playing a Revenant from our deck, while also not meaning I'm playing Revenants from hand. You never want to play this card from your hand in this deck. It's always your mulligan card. We've got Smoke 'em Out, which is playing 2 volunteers and spawning and buffing them by 1. So it's playing 2 soldiers on the board. This will not make Ronvid come out because you're not playing a soldier. You are spawning them or summoning them. I'm not exactly sure of the keyword. You're spawning them. But it's 2 soldiers that are buffed, which is Visagard value. There's also more ways of playing volunteers, which can be Voimir value. And it's also a nice Draug target as well. So really, really nice combo. Really nice card, rather. We've got Double Forbidden Magic, just a card I stand by, live by, die by. I love this card. I think it's brilliant. Being able to spawn Revenants in while also getting some removal is just inherently one of my favourite cards. I love it. We've got the Crack Frigate, which I did touch on before. This has an order of spawning a volunteer in this row. So it's playing for 6 points, which is pretty terrible. But if it's got a crew pocket, you can refresh that ability. So you can use the order once per turn. Now, all you need is a soldier to the left, and you're going to spawn a soldier to the right, so it creates that crew pocket for you. It's a really nice card. Obviously, like I mentioned, volunteers, great Draug targets. They're also a great Voimir target, which means Visagard value as well. So I think this card's really, really nice. And I do think it's a great Hensel option, 1 in each row, and also a great Offering option as well. It's not as great for Reinforcements because, like I say, if you've got 1 in each row, it could overfill if you're not careful. You are in control, obviously. If that happens, you can just not spawn in more ones. But I feel like Offering is just a really nice option in this deck. We've got Ronvid, of course. Egmont, who is also a new card, the last one to touch on, who is a Veil Zeal card who can damage an enemy unit by 3 on deploy. That's a really unique ability in Northern Realms, damaging by 3. One other card that can do that, and I definitely want to try out in lists, is the Lyrian Landsknecht. But this card also, if you do not use the deploy ability, is working like a Temerian Drummer by boosting a unit to the right by 1. So that's the deck. Like I say, I would imagine this one particularly undergoes quite a few changes in the next couple of weeks. But this is just the first one I've put together. The Landsknecks, also the Drummers, are some really great options in at 5 provisions for soldiers as well. But let's crack on with it, see how we get on. Like I say, I'm pretty sure the deck's going to be rather strong. We are, of course, in pro rank, so we're playing against the people that finished top 500 of last season. We are sort of 8 hours into the patch by this point as well, so I would imagine most people are starting to sell, find some decks they're playing. I've not played this deck since probably the first hour or so of the expansion, so hopefully it's still holding up strong. As I say, how bad can a Draug deck be that you're just spamming Revenants? I'm pretty sure it can't be that bad, man. We are up against Uprising. Here's the challenge. It could be another streamer or something like that. We will find out at the end of the game, of course. We're going first, and this is why I love the Ceremonial Dagger. Dagger just gives me so much control when accompanied with Forbidden Magics. Definitely could do with a little bit more damage pings, like Maulers I'm missing in this deck. I still have Sheila, but they are a little bit sketchy. We're obviously going to kick the Revenant. We definitely don't want that. I think 1 magic is probably going to suffice, to be completely honest with you. I feel like 2's a little bit dodge. But then again, I could just keep it. Smoke him out maybe could go. The Frigate's pretty good. I think we'll kick Smoke him out. I don't see me playing it. Double Frigate. I think I can kick one. It opens up my Henselt potentially later on. I'm just going to lead in with a Crack City Guard. Gains 1 point a turn. And if he plays anything like a Mauler, I can move it out of the way. So I do quite like ditching Maulers overall because they just seem like they get moved a lot anyway.
When I do the tenderizing, there's nothing left to fry.
As you can see. And we'll play our next Crack City Guard down. Now this also gives me a crew pocket for my Crack Frigate. And I can start spawning things in there. It's also worth considering that the offering means that I can res this and then Henselt the other one out. I don't have to rely on like a reinforcements or something. But seeing as I've got the dagger there, let's just call in a wee little Revenant. Not sure we're going to be able to do too much with this. I do have Amphibious Assault off of John Natalis, which could play like a Sheila or an Eggman to line up some ones. But maybe I need a bit more damage to be using this card. We're going to put Ronvid down, make sure he gets down before my opponent passes. And we're looking pretty damn solid here. Pretty damn good. Definitely some more damage could be an idea. But in round 3, Visigoth's obviously just going to come through with a ton of damage. Yeah, obviously I'm not passing at this point. I've got a few options. This is where maybe my Smoke 'em Out card could have been a good option to have kept instead of this Forbidden Magic. I feel like I got a bit greedy and probably should have kicked it. I could, of course, call in my Amphibious Assault and maybe just play like a Cutthroat or something like that, a low provision card. Thinning my deck, and also my Echo card's going to come back, so it doesn't seem too bad. Yep, I think I'm going to call in the Cutthroat here. Just going to play it in the front, and I'm going to bleed the Trident Infantry in case he wants to use an Enchantress on this. I would imagine he probably passes here anyway, to be completely honest. There is an argument that I could have kept this, but I think why not, right? He's still playing, which kind of surprises me. He's got to make a somewhat big commitment to stay in this round, but not a massive one. Yeah, and this card's just sort of messing me up, right? I should have mulliganed it. I'll just put that down, I guess. It's fine. Less than ideal. We do get the pass. I probably push Uprising as well. I've got Ronvid down, so I'll just find a Revenant early doors and sell out. So we'll keep this Forbidden Magic this time for sure. Amphibious Assault's coming back, which means I've got Eggman or Sheila guaranteed if I would like them. I've got pretty much all the other high provision cards I want. I find Eggman nice and early. Royal Guard's a nice proactive play. We can kick it. I might just end up passing, honestly. I find Sheila... Really, I've got everything I need except maybe... Yeah, I mean, my Amphibious Assault's not doing that much for me. I guess we're just playing a Royal Guard from it, or the correct Frigate. Neither are terrible options, I suppose. Let's keep this hand. I don't have Draug, so I could pass. But I've also got a very strong round 3 by just hitting Draug and Valibor. I'm pretty sure the play here is to call in a Frigate at high power. Then I put Egmont to the left of it, and it's going to buff it up. And then I can also spawn the Volunteer, and that's just going to start my Volunteer train going. I think that's the play here. I'm going to play it in the front, coming in at 7, so it's a nice target for your assault. It just puts it out of damage range, apart from obviously Einsis is a definite possibility. Again, not certain on many of the cards in this deck, but we'll see what happens. I think you're pretty confident with Smoke 'em Out plus Draug. I just feel like against Uprising, you sort of need to try and bleed them a little bit, because they're going to be better in a long round than we are. So I am going to go for the Egmont, and I could be a bit cheeky and... Basically, I just want to get a soldier down next to the Frigate as soon as possible, right? To either side to refresh this. But I also don't want to play Egmont and it just gets destroyed. I suppose I'm more worried this gets destroyed though. The 3 damage is nice, but I think let's just do this. Ronvid, unfortunately, I guess Ronvid could have landed and helped my boat out there. But we refresh the ability. We start spawning in some Volunteers, which is obviously going to be nice for a Voimir Visegard combo potentially. I do, of course, want to try and get my Revenants down as soon as possible. This is an argument for using 2 Revenants. I could have just led straight in with Revenant and Henselted. He's calling Reynard in, which is a card I'm pretty scared of, right? So I'm going to probably just damage it with Sheila first. I'll leave Egmont and then probably use Egmont next turn. A bit of magic it and then try and get out. Let's spawn another Volunteer. It's still going to refresh because it's got a crew pocket.
I've no interest in politics.
So a really nice target on the Amphibious Assault, this card. As is Egmont, as is Sheila, to be fair. But particularly this is an engine card. It's just going to be really solid in this expansion, I think. So I've now got 2 options. I can kill Reynard or I can kill the Trident. But I'm going to use my Egmont here. We're also going to pray the Revenant spawns in the back. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. And we're going to call the Henselt in here. On the back row. And we can start the madness going. So I've got spawning in the front, spawning in the back. Unfortunately, I don't have my Draug, so I can't, transform this all into Revenants and then Voimir. But it's still looking really solid, right? A nice little swarm-based deck. This correct card is doing some work for us. That is very scary, to be fair. I have, of course, already committed my Henselt, so I'm pretty invested in this one. We'll just kill our own one. Kill our own one. Spawn something in. I mean, he's used all his leader charges, right? I'm not scared of Einsis anymore, so I think Baron back row is probably fine. Ronvid, of course, coming in to help me continue my Revenants. Don't forget as well, I've still got Draug, hopefully round 3, Fallible round 3 with Smoke 'em Outs as well. As long as we hit the ADC, we find those. And that's why I feel like you can't really run Devotion in Northern Realms, why I don't like it. You just need like an extra tutor card. Amphibious Assault's just not going to be enough. There's not enough thinning in NR. Unless you're playing Pincer Maneuver, I don't think you can play that. So, pretty sure it's in my interest to reset this because it stops the vitality on it as well. We can kill Ronvid, I guess, first. Yep, let's kill Ronvid. Let's spawn one in the front. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Volunteers, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Revenants. So we'll hit the Revenants here with Voimir. We will kill Ronvid again. And then we're going to have Visegard coming in for a ton of points to finish the job off here. As well as we've still got another way of spawning. So deck's feeling very good. This is one of the first times I've played this particular list. Made a few changes. You're still feeling much more confident with your Smoke 'em Out cards with Draug in round 3. Which is just really nice. So Visegard should just be able to shut this down pretty comfortably. We'll see. We'll spawn one there as well. Ronvid's not coming back. Obviously, I can kill Baron here. Want a little rev in. Deny a couple of boosts, I guess. So we finish with a full 2 rows. Looking pretty damn nice, man. There's some real nice synergy with these volunteers and with revenants, aside with Visigoth and Voimir. A nice way of playing those really powerful cards outside of Uprising for sure. It's something I've been trying to do in the last patch with some success, but I think now, and we're playing against Energix, who's one of the best players from the last season, right? So feels like a pretty damn solid deck, man. Really nice to be able to play, as I say, Visigoth and Voimir outside of those Uprising decks, and they still get some really nice value. So hope you enjoyed this deck guide. There will be more coming soon. Make sure you subscribe, because I'm coming in with lots of decks. That's the motive. I'm having so much fun with it. Thank you for watching. Deuces.